The demand for greater A-League independence, financial transparency of the FFA's accounts and an increased say for clubs in the sports management are key factors driving the current schism between the clubs and the Stephen Lowy-led FFA board. But this dispute, which is set to come to a head later this week and could see FIFA take over the running of Australian soccer, is not something that has occurred over the past few months. It's said that those who fail to heed the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. With that in mind, it's worth considering, given the impending implosion of the game, whether the FFA leaders have absorbed past lessons or whether they are largely the authors of the situation they find themselves in now. 6 years ago, a detailed government report into the workings of the FFA and the operation of the A-League told the then Frank Lowy-led body that things had to change if the game was to reach its full potential. The report was undertaken by the Australian Sports Commission, then chaired by former Tasmanian Liberal MP and Howard Government Cabinet Minister Warwick Smith, who is currently a senior executive at ANZ Bank. As long ago as 2011, the ASC was pinpointing the problems the game was facing because of the FFA leadership's unwillingness to delegate responsibility and allow its key stakeholders more input into the sport. It pointed out that the key recommendations of the groundbreaking Crawford Report of 2003, which ushered in the new era which led to the establishment of the FFA and the coronation of Lowy Sr. as the game's ultimate ruler, had not been fully implemented. And, a decade and a half after Crawford, critics of the FFA management argue that many of those provisions have still to be enacted and that the governance of the game is unsatisfactory, hence the current revolt. The report, even at that time, said hard decisions over the future management of the game needed to be taken and that continued reliance on government largesse was unsustainable. The FFA and A-League clubs needed to get their financial house in order to ensure growth. Back then, A-League clubs were losing collectively some $25 million a year putting on the show. Only Melbourne Victory has, in the intervening years, been a consistent moneymaker, but even it showed a loss in its last accounts. But, the ASC pointed out, the owners were not being given the opportunity to increase their revenue streams through greater power and control of the competition. It is a message that resonates still. These owners perceive a limited ability to contribute to the strategic direction of the competition nor ability to address structural issues that contribute to their losses, the report said. There is a perceived lack of transparency and decision-making and financials around the A-League and concerns about participation agreements which are geared in FFA's favour and limit clubs' ability to generate further revenue. These are all key issues which are still grievances of the clubs and have fueled the enmity which has put the game on a civil war footing which could end with FIFA taking control of the sport here. Should that happen later this week, the existing board and its chairman Stephen Lowy, son of inaugural chairman Frank, would likely be sacked and a temporary administration installed.